Good morning, or depending on when you're listening to this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross and I was told I had a voice for radio, so I've made some videos. This is from Newport Regionals, the very first regionals in the UK just 3 days after Breakthrough was made legal. So these are the first really big tournaments around where the Breakthrough, the new set will be legal, so you can learn about the new cards, the new decks, and the new strategies by watching these videos. I should thank the lovely Deborah Richards, who not only put on this tournament, but she let me record and she made it really easy for me to do so at the same time. So thank you very much to her. We are in the format X and Y to Ancient Origins, and we are playing 6 rounds of 50-minute best of 3. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so into round 2, we see Adam Hawkins on the left. He is going to be playing Houndoom, and I deliberately got him on stream because he won his first round, and I figured that a deck featuring pretty much entirely new cards, remember this is the first tournament in which Breakthrough is legal, would be one we would want to put on stream. Inadvertently, we've also got Jamie Serhan on stream, who happens to be another exceptionally good player, and he is going to be playing Mega Manectric Giratina, which is a deck that I've not seen before. Now, we'll talk about it more as we go through, but it's one of those decks which kind of takes 2 archetypes and basically mashes them together. So, you know, we've seen Mega Manectric decks all over the place. We've seen Giratina decks all over the place. We haven't seen them very often together. Now, you can see Jamie's got awesome Japanese Wailord sleeves. Adam also has fantastic sleeves, but they're a little bit less visible. So we're going to get started in just 1 second. Thank you, of course, to both these boys for agreeing to be on stream, and to Deborah Richards for running the tournament, and for both letting me record and for setting it up so that I could record so easily. Very nice of everyone involved. So we have a Houndoom start from Adam, and we have a Shaymin start from Jamie. Now, Houndoom has 2 attacks. The first attack for 1 fire energy discards the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, and for 2 energy, you can do 50 damage and attach a fire energy from your discard pile to one of your bench. He straight away gets another Houndoom down, he gets a Zubat down, and he plays a Hooper, uses Hooper's ability to search for free EX Pokemon. And he's got himself a Shaymin there. And he might have just got a Shaymin, actually. So he plays a Shaymin down to draw 3 more cards. Usually you would go for the Mega, but you need the Spirit Link for the Mega. He gets a Spirit Link on there. That's a trainer card, which means you can Mega Evolve without ending your turn. And he plays a Battle Compressor, which is going to allow him to discard any free cards from his deck. So he gets rid of a Sycamore, probably so that he can use a VS Seeker to grab it out the discard. He gets rid of a Judge, probably for the same reason. And he gets rid of a Fire Energy. Remember that Houndoom's second attack allows you to get fire energy from the discard, but you're also going to be using Blacksmith to do so. Now we see a Giovanni Scheme coming down. That is a new card, which it gives you a choice. You either get to draw until you've got 5 cards in your hand, or you get to do 20 more damage for each attack. As Adam can't attack, it's his first turn of the game, he chooses to draw until he's got 5 cards in his hand. So Jamie gets going now, and we see a Battle Compressor from him. You'll have to forgive the glare a tiny bit on Adam's side of the field. I will explain as we go through what all these cards are. So Jamie's playing a Battle Compressor here, and he's going to be playing it for pretty much the same reason as Adam's going to be playing it. He's going to want to get electric energy and other energy into the discard to attach with Mega Manectric's attack. Remember, Mega Manectric does 110 damage and discards 2 cards from the discard pile to one of your, attaches 2 energy from the discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. They have to be basic, I should add. He may also want to put, he may also want to put supporters in the discard pile, as I've explained in many of my videos, and go back obviously and watch round 1 if you haven't done so already. As I explained in a lot of my videos, if you're playing 4 Sycamore, then you've got 4 cards you can draw. But if you put a Sycamore in the discard pile and you're also playing 4 VS Seeker, you've now got 3 Sycamore, 4 VS Seeker, which means there are 7 cards that you can draw that will give you a Sycamore. And Jamie also plays down a Hooper EX, and again we'll use that exact same ability to grab out 3 EX Pokemon. And we would expect to see a Manectric, a Giratina, and either a second Manectric or a Shaymin, depending on what his hand is looking like. If he doesn't want to draw more cards, we expect 2 Manectric and a Giratina. He's got a Birch in hand, so he's probably going to get the Giratina rather than the second Manectric rather than the Shaymin, and that's what he's gone and done here. Now, we see that Giratina. Usually, we see Giratina played with Double Dragon and whatever energy you've got to hand. Maybe Metal in a Bronzong deck or Double Colorless in a Seismitoad deck. Here, we're actually seeing it with Psychic and Grass energy. So he's actually going to be powered up with the correct energy, not Double Dragon. And we see all 3 of those EXs going down. Oh, he's got a Sycamore in hand as well there. And he's got a Birch. Now, we see he's being conservative here. He's got a VS Seeker. He could have Sycamored and its head, so it's paid off very nicely indeed. He could have played the Sycamore, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. But that would also have lost him the Birch and the VS Seeker. It would have involved getting rid of a lot of supporters. Whereas playing the Birch, shuffle your hand into your deck, flip a coin if heads draw 7 cards, if tails draw 4. It means he risks only having 4 cards, but he gets to keep the Sycamore and the VS Seeker for later in the game. And you saw from that earlier Battle Compressor, he actually dumped a Xerosic so that he can reuse it later on. So he's got an energy here, which of course he's going to want to attach. He's also got an Escape Rope, and he's almost certainly going to play that Escape Rope. Now, we do see the... we see a Trainer's Mail there, lets him look at the top 4 cards of his deck and choose any trainer he finds. I'd imagine he's going to grab the Muscle Band there to do more damage. Might grab the VS Seeker, but he has got a Judge for next turn. And you know he's got the Escape Rope here, so what he's going to be able to do is play the Escape Rope, and it will force Adam to put one of his... It acts as a switch for Jamie, but it also is going to force Adam to put one of his bench Pokemon into the active. Shaymin is weak to Lightning and's only got 110 HP. Zubat is weak to Lightning and has only got 50 HP, so that would be KO'd. And the Houndoom has no energy and no Spirit Link, so that's going to be a fun one to, to hit into. So that's, there's a lot of stuff going on here, which is good for Jamie. The brilliant thing is, Adam clearly wanted that Houndoom in the active. So by forcing the other Houndoom in the active, it just puts him back. Now, instead of just being able to go Energy Mega and using the attack that he wants, he's going to have to get a Blacksmith Spirit Link Mega or get him out the active. Now we see the Crobat coming down there. That's the Golbat. I'm going to get them confused all game. I always do. I can only apologise. We see the Golbat coming down there. That's going to allow him to put 20 damage on one of Jamie's Pokemon. And he chooses the Manectric. The reason he does that... we see a Burning Energy and a Blacksmith. Now, he had to do that because he only had one in the discard. And Blacksmith allows you to attach up to 2... Well, it allows you to attach 2 basic fire to one of your fire Pokemon, but if you've only got 1, you can only attach 1. And he does the attack for 50, but of course he can't also attach a fire to his bench Pokemon because he has no fire in the discard with which to do so. So, Jamie here, he's doing quite nicely. Now, one unintended consequence, there is no tool... We see, we saw a VS Seeker for a Sycamore there from Jamie. Since there's no tool on the active Houndoom, Manectric is only going to be doing 60 damage, not 120, as he would if he was attacking into the Spirit-linked Houndoom. Now, the whole point of the Houndoom deck is the Mega Houndoom, which can do 160 damage if you discard the fire energy attached to it. So you do 160 damage. It's not quite enough to KO EXs, hence you play the Bat line as well. So you can drop a Golbat, do 20 damage, then do 160, and that will be a one-hit KO on the EXs. Here we see the Mega Manectric come down with the Spirit Link. He's going to be able to do 110 damage, and he's going to be able to attach the Psychic and Grass energy to one of those benched Giratinas that also happen to have, muscle bands ready to go. Now we see an Ultra Ball and 2 VS Seeker that he can choose to take from the Trainer's Mail. It looked like he had a Sycamore in hand, so he might not want to take the VS Seeker. If he's planning to Sycamore next turn, there's no point taking the VS Seeker. However, he might want to play something like a Birch next turn instead, in which case VS Seeker will be a good way to go. So yeah, he goes for the Ultra Ball there, and there is a good chance he's just going to Sycamore it next turn, if he has got a Sycamore in hand. But by taking the Ultra Ball, it just takes it out of his deck. If he doesn't want the Ultra Ball next turn, then taking it out of his deck with Trainer's Mail, it just leaves one less card in his deck that he doesn't want, that he's now definitely not going to draw. So it just adds a bit of consistency. It makes him more likely to draw into the stuff that he wants. So we do see the cards going down there. Now it looks like Jamie's playing neither Double Colorless nor Double Dragon, so he is going to have to get 4 basic energy onto the Giratina to attack with it. On the one hand, and we see a Crobat coming down there doing 30 to the Giratina, putting both of them in range for a Mega Houndoom attack, which of course is pretty funky. And if he's got the Spirit Link and the Mega here, he is going to be able to just straight away get the KO. Or indeed, if he's got the Mega, he could manually retreat and get the KO with the benched one, which actually would be able to take a hit from whatever Jamie can throw at him. But I can't... see, if Adam had the Mega here, this would be awesome. He could manually retreat the Houndoom. He could evolve without ending his turn with a benched Houndoom. He'd have enough energy on there to do 160 damage, KOing the Mega Manectric, going up by 2 prizes, and having a Mega Houndoom, which I think would have 190 HP left. But he clearly doesn't have the Mega. Now, the thing that Burning Energy does, and you can see he's got one attached to both of his Houndoom, the thing that Burning Energy does is it allows him to, discard the energy, but then the Burning Energy doesn't discard. Oh, and that we can see the hand that Adam's got there. It's not amazing. Oh, no, sorry, that wasn't his. Oh, his hand is not amazing. It looks like it's just a Golbat. Now, it was a really nice play from Adam there. What he did was he manually retreated the Houndoom, and then he used Grand Flame to do 50 damage and attach the recently discarded Fire to a new, fresh Houndoom, which means that Jamie now, and we do see him just Sycamoring the Ultra Ball. So Jamie now can either KO the Houndoom that's got no energy attached, although he'd need a Lysander, which he clearly hasn't played, or he can go after the fresh Houndooms, but they've still got, enough HP to withstand the hit. So a really nice play from Adam there. The ideal would clearly have been to get the Mega Houndoom and do the same play with the Mega. That would have put him 2 prizes up. Unfortunately, that wasn't an option he had. He really has not been drawing very well this game at all, and it is starting to hurt him. Jamie, on the other hand, is in a very good position. I don't know how much basic energy he's got in the discard pile, but what he really wants to do here is, if he hasn't, get 2 more in the discard pile, and then attach them to, attach with the Mega. Oh, now what he could do here, he's got that Rough Seas out, so what he could do is free retreat the Mega here, but he would need something else to attack with. We see a fairly... Now, how many has he got? No, I didn't think he had any energy in the discard pile there. I thought he just had the 2. Now, we see there he's got a Sycamore and 2 VS Seeker, so he's not going to be able to play that Sycamore next turn. He's going to have to play either the Birch or maybe get a Xerosic back or something like that. Now we see a Scorched Earth coming down, which allows you to discard a Fighting or Fire energy and draw 2 cards. but he has no fire energy in his hand with which to do that. And of course that does speed up his deck, because remember, both Blacksmith and regular Houndoom attach from the discard pile. And we see a nice little play from Adam there. He's used Melting Horn to discard the top 2 cards of Jamie's deck. Now, what it's not going to do is deck Jamie out in the next turn or two, but he's not able to really do enough damage to really make it worth, you know, he's only doing 50 damage. But what he might do is he might end up discarding a key card, a key attacker, etc., which could, you know, put Jamie in danger. Of course, the other problem is, from Adam's point of view, we've seen that Jamie really wants more energy in a discard pile. Oh, and he hits a tail, so he only gets 4 cards off that Birch. So Adam, he didn't, but he could have ended up inadvertently discarding all of, you know, energy, which would have really helped him with the Mega Manectric's attack. Now, we see that Houndoom is on 100 and... Now, it looks like it's on 130. Yeah. So, had he had a muscle band for the Manectric, what he could have done is retreated and gotten the KO with the regular Manectric, but he doesn't. He only has the Mega and a regular without the muscle band. Although he could have done his regular attack, he could have done the 20 to the active, 20 to the bench, and what that would have done is actually left both of his Houndooms with very little HP, although actually the one on the bench would still have had 30 HP left. So it would have taken more than 2 of those attacks to KO both the Houndoom. But he could have started really threatening, essentially sit there with Assault Laser turn after turn and just, you know, or overrun. Let me double check the name of the attack there. And just kind of, you know, just sit there and every single turn just try and just get some KOs going on. You know, just sit there and pick away at the Houndooms. A risky play, because obviously maybe Adam's got a Super Scoop Up or an AZ at some point. It's overrun the first attack, does 20 to the active, 20 to the bench. Assault Laser is the second. So, we see Jamie there is able to pick up the Hooper, which, you know, gets it off the field and stops that play happening again. We know he's now got energy in the discard, because Adam did hit some energy from Houndoom's attack. And Jamie is in a really good place here. We see he's got Lysandre in hand, which he's going to be able to use to get a KO either on the... Oh, actually, no. Adam draws a Skyfield, which is no help whatsoever. And it looks... Oh, and his next turn, he would have got a VS-Seeker, but it would have been too late. Jamie was going to get a KO on the active Houndoom. We know he had a Lysandre in hand. So after getting the KO on the active Houndoom, Jamie would have been down to just 2 prizes remaining. And it would have been very simple for him to just turn around, use a Lysandre to drag up either the half-dead Shaymin or the half-dead Houndoom and take prizes 5 and 6. So you see Jamie's deck here, it's a regular Mega Manectric deck, to all intents and purposes. It runs like a regular Mega Manectric deck. You've got the Rough Seas there to heal, you've got the Manectrics that do the Manectric attacks, the Overrun and the Assault Laser, you've got the Mega, which does 110 damage, and puts energy on the bench. Remember, Mega Manectric has free retreat, and you play the Rough Sea Stadium, which allows you to heal 30 damage from each of your lightning, or water, but he doesn't play any water, Pokemon every single turn, so you can attack with the Mega Manectric and then retreat it for free when it's taken a couple hits and start healing it up. Nice and simple. The difference is, some people play it with bats, although those decks tend to drop the Mega, to be honest. Some people play it with Regice, he's playing it with Giratina. It's exactly the same deal, except instead of playing Water Energy, he's playing a couple of Psychic and a couple of Grass, and instead of using Mega Manectric to put Water Energy on the Regice, he's using Mega Manectric to put Psychic and Grass Energy on the Giratina. What it does is it covers matchups. It's essentially got all the benefits of the Manectric deck and all the benefits of the Giratina deck. Although you do, of course, you sacrifice a little bit of speed. Oh, we see a mulligan from both players here, so nobody draws an extra card yet. In things like Seismitoad Giratina, you can do turn 1 Double Dragon or Double Colourless, turn 2 Double Dragon, and then you can be going on the second turn of the game with Giratina's attack. But we've seen the promo Jirachi, which was legal for this tournament, which has an attack which does 10 damage. I genuinely didn't realise it did 10 damage until halfway through this tournament, despite playing it in my deck, which made me feel a little silly. But more important than the damage, it discards a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, and it gives Jirachi immunity the following turn. So a lot of people are going, well, if I come across a Giratina, I'm just going to use Jirachi 4 turns in a row to get rid of their Double Dragon. Jamie gets around that. Jamie is not reliant on Double Dragon or Double Colourless energy, so it means that stuff like Xerosic, Enhanced Hammer, and Jirachi aren't a problem for him. But it does mean that he then, you know, it's going to take him a couple of turns to really get rolling on this. Now, we do see an Entei coming down from Adam there, which is a fun little card. I believe it's the Ancient Origins Entei. And we see an Ultra... Oh, and this is a better start from Adam. He Ultra Balls 2 Fire Energy there in his discard, and we saw last game how he really... didn't do very well from losing them. We see a Houndoom, a Mega Houndoom, and a Shaymin coming down. And this is really good. Now, this is something which Adam, I don't know if we can call it a misplay, because he didn't really know it was going to happen. Oh, and we see a Battle Compressor as well. And we see a Sycamore, so he can reuse it with VS Seeker. We see a Blacksmith, and we know he's got 2 energy in the discard pile. One thing that Adam didn't do, and we see a Hex Maniac as well. Oh, and we've got a Bunnelby start from Jamie here. One thing that Adam was not able to do last turn, we saw there was that turn there he really needed the Mega, where the Mega could have got him a KO and put him 2 prizes up, and he had chosen not to get the Mega from an earlier Hooper. Now, he did it for very good reasons, so that he didn't have to, so he could draw more cards with a Shaymin, but it did end up backfiring moderately spectacularly, although he had no way of knowing. He gets a Spirit Link on the Houndoom, he plays the VS Seeker for a Blacksmith to get both the energy on there, we know he's got the Mega in hand, and he Shaymins to draw 6 cards with his setup ability. This is more like it. As a side note, Jamie is apparently playing Double Dragon Energy, so he's not just relying on the Psychic and Grass. He's essentially got options there, which is good. Now, the Entei can do Burning Roar for a colourless energy. Discard the top 4 cards of your deck. If any of them are fire energy, you can attach them to any of your Pokemon in any way that you like. Or for 2 fire energy, it does Combat Blaze, 20 damage plus 20 more for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So if your opponent's got 3 bench Pokemon, you get to do 80 damage for a double colourless, for 2 fire energy, and remember that you can use Blacksmith to get them going straight away. Jamie's got that Bunnelby active, remember it can attack twice, and its attack either discards a top card of your opponent's deck, or puts a card from your discard pile into your deck. So we see a second Trainer's Mail from Jamie there. I didn't quite see what he got with the first one, unfortunately. But we do see a Muscle Band coming down from the second, which goes straight onto the Giratina. We see an Ultra Ball coming down, and it looks like he's going to get rid of the AZ and the Hex Maniac. Again, leaving them in the discard, because he probably only plays 1 copy of each of those cards. Better to have the 1 copy of each of them in the discard pile, so that you can VS Seeker for them later. And I can only imagine he's grabbing a Shaymin here, because if you looked at his hand there, it was very uninspiring. My apologies. He's grabbing a Hooper. Of course he's grabbing a Hooper. He can grab a Shaymin, or he can grab a Hooper for 2 Manectric and a Shaymin. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that 2 Manectric and a Shaymin is better than a Shaymin. And this Hooper card has really... it's had a sneaky important impact on the game as a whole. It really is... It's a silly little card, which is played as a one-of in every EX-heavy deck. But it's just so key. It turns an Ultra Ball into your entire setup. You know, we saw Adam last turn. He grabbed a Shaymin to get cards, a Houndoom to get attacking, and a Mega Houndoom for next turn. And we see Jamie here. He gets 2 Manectric and the Shaymin. I mean, I don't want to boast, but I totally called that was what he was going to grab. In this game, for Jamie's deck, in the early running, Manectric is more important. Manectric attacks for 1 or 2 energy, and when you get the Mega out, he allows you to start putting energy onto your bench. Giratina needs 4 energy, 3 if you use a double dragon as one of them. But really, he's more of a mid-game attacker. You generally want to start with Jamie's deck. You want to start with the nice, consistent Manectrics there. Now, I think it was a good play from Adam. I think I saw a Skyfield in his hand, which he chose not to play last turn, which was a really good play from him, because essentially, had he played the Skyfield, Jamie could have taken advantage, benched all the Pokemon he wanted, then countered the Skyfield. And remember that when you take a Skyfield off the bench, you've got to go down to 5 bench Pokemon. So he could have, benched another Giratina and a Manectric, played Rough Seas to counter the Skyfield, and then discarded the Hooper and the Shaman to take them off his bench. So if Adam does have a Skyfield there, I don't know if he does, but if he does have a Skyfield, it was a really good play on his part not to play it. I don't know if I was just seeing things there. So no basic energy from Jamie here, which is a little bit of a shame, but he has got the double dragon, which he sticks on the Giratina, and life is good. Now, he doesn't really want to be prioritizing the Giratina in this matchup because the special energy is not all that important. Although, to be fair, the Spirit Link is. Remember, when you attack with Giratina, it stops you putting down any stadium, or your opponent putting down stadium, special energy, or he has got a Skyfield in place, so I was right. Or Pokemon Tools next turn. So we see an AZ coming down there, picking up the Entei. We see and there is that Skyfield coming down. And we see the Mega Houndoom coming out. So Giratina can help here, but really the Manectric can start doing damage. It's incredibly difficult to one-hit KO the Manectric with the Mega Houndoom, and you've got that Rough Seas that can allow you to heal it. Of course, it doesn't look like Jamie had any other energy to use, so of course he puts the Double Dragon down. Now he's got 20 damage here. Presumably it's going to go on to one of the EXs, because, like I say, Mega Houndoom does 80 damage, 160 if you discard the fire energy. So, by putting 20 damage on the Giratina, it brings it down to under 160 HP, and life is good. And we see Golbat's attack there. I told you I'd get them confused. Golbat's attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. He could have retreated and attacked with the Mega Houndoom, but why would you? He doesn't want to take a 1-prize KO on a Bunnelby, because he's still going to have to KO 3 EXs and take essentially 7 prizes to win the game. And he doesn't want to leave that Mega Houndoom in the active so that Jamie gets a free hit on it next turn. Far better to just do 10 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Remember that Manectric's got 170 HP, so those 2 Manectrics now are in range of being KO'd by a, they are in range of being KO'd by a Houndoom's attack. And actually, there is an argument that he should have put the 20 damage on the Bunnelby there, because by putting the 20 Golbat damage on the Bunnelby and then using the attack, he would put Bunnelby on 30 damage, and he could then have used, he would have been able to use Crobat's attack to do 30 to the Bunnelby, which actually would have been enough, I believe, to get the KO, because he's only got 60 HP. Of course, we see a switch there into the Manectric. As I said before, it's not the end of the world because he doesn't need the Bunnelby KO. But if he was doing 10 damage to all of those EXs anyway, he was bringing them down within the threshold of being KO'd by a Houndoom. So we didn't need the damage on the Giratina. A small play, and it might be irrelevant in the scheme of things, but I think maybe putting the damage on the Bunnelby there could have been the right play. Both Giratina and Manectric have 170 HP, if I remember correctly. So all it takes is one attack from Golbat to bring them down to 160 HP, which brings them within range of Mega Houndoom's attack. There we go. Nice and explained. Feels like I didn't take a breath there for like 20 minutes. Which, to be fair, I might not have done. Now, we did see a slightly risky play from Jamie just before he actually discarded a Rough Seas, despite having damage on both his Manectrics. But you see, he just drew into another one there, so he's all good, quite frankly. He's doing all right. So, Jamie here, he's going to heal off his Manectrics. Now, the question is, does he want to get an attack off? Again, he's in the same real position that Adam was in last turn. He doesn't really want to attack into that Golbat. I mean, he does. If you attack into the Crobat, you take the Crobat off the field. The Crobat can't come down next turn. But there's no part of Jamie's board where that 30 damage is really gonna hurt. But instead, so yeah, he doesn't need to get rid of that Golbat there. So what he does is he just evolves the Mega Manectric on the bench and goes, you know what? I'll worry about getting this boy out the active next turn. You see he's also got an Escape Rope in hand, so he is going to be able to just get that Mega Manectric out next turn and start going to town. Start doing, quite frankly, what his deck is designed to do. So, Adam's in a better position here. Now, oh no, I lied. There is a function of the Crobat here. There's a very big function of the Crobat. If Adam can get the Crobat, and he's got the Crobat. So Adam here's got the KO on that active Manectric. I believe all he needs to do is drop the Crobat, hit the Manectric, and then he'll be able to use Mega Houndoom's attack, discarding the energy. Remember, the Golbat's got free retreat. And he will get the KO on the Manectric and go up by 2 prizes. So, yeah, there we go. Now, I mean, Jamie wasn't going to have the KO on the Crobat, on the Golbat anyway. Without a Muscle Band, the most he could have done was 40 damage with a Manectric EX. He would have needed a Muscle Band to get the KO. But, of course, there's a very darned good reason he's not putting the... Oh, does he have a Lysandre here? No. Okay. I was going to say, there's a pretty gosh darned good reason Jamie is not putting the Muscle Bands on the Manectric. He needs a Spirit Link. Now, I'm not sure why he put the Crobat damage on that benched Mega Manectric. Now, we know that Jamie's gone through a few Rough Seas already, so it might be that Adam is banking on the fact that Jamie doesn't have a Rough Seas to use. But had he put it on the active Manectric, he would have been able to get the KO with Mega Houndoom. Now, instead, he's taking a different tactic, and this is actually quite a nice play from Adam here. I personally would have gone the Mega Houndoom play, but you can see what he's doing. He's got the energy on the Crobat, the Golbat. I always get them confused, and it's happened so many times now, I'm never going to be able to stop. He got the energy on the Crobat, so he's just sitting there and sniping the Giratina. Giratina is neither water nor... electric, so he can't use Rough Seas. So Adam can just sit there and snipe at the Giratina, and it might be that he's able to put the Giratina down to such a HP that he's actually going to be able to get the KO with Mega Houndoom without discarding the energy. If he gets one more hit, if he gets one more kind of skill dive on the Giratina, then he's going to be able to just attack with a Mega Houndoom for 80, and that will KO the Giratina without having to discard the energy, which will be a big, big boon for him. Although, that would be an argument for putting the Crobat damage on the Giratina, so then he'd already be on the 90 damage. Either way, the Crobat damage went down on the Mega Manectric, so, you know, moot point, to be honest with you. Now here, Adam, he's going to have to put up the Entei or the Hooper. They're basically his choices. He can't put up the Shaman because that's giving away 2 prizes. And he can't give up the Mega Houndoom because remember, he deliberately didn't attack with the... He could have got a 2-prize KO with the Mega Houndoom last turn. He chose not to so that he could not give up a hit on Mega Houndoom and just start sniping away with Golbat. So it's got to be Entei or it's got to be Hooper. Oh. Or Shaman. Now Entei would survive a hit because Entei's got 120 HP and that Mega Manectric only does 110 damage and there is no Spirit Link on there. So... although the issue might have been, you know, Adam might have looked at his hand and said, look, I need to start getting some KOs. I have no way of getting whatever I put into the active out of the active. So I might as well just give him a Shaman. At least then I'm going to be able to get the KO next turn. Gives up the Shaman, hoping to get the KO on the Mega Manectric so that he can kind of, you know, keep up in the prize trade. Although, that Mega Manectric, he's got 180 HP left. So a Mega Houndoom attack is only going to do 160 damage. It will leave him on 20 damage. And that's not going to get the KO. So he's going to need a Muscle Band, which he can't put on because he's already put on the Spirit Link. Or he's going to need... a Golbat, which he's not going to have because there's no Zubat on the bench. So Adam's not getting a kill on that Mega Manectric next turn. And after all of that, I disagreed with putting the Shaman active, but it turns out it made literally no difference whatsoever because Jamie had a Lysandre in hand that he's just going to be used to grab up the Houndoom anyway. So all a complete moot point in the end after all that. Now, here is a position that Adam didn't want. He could have taken a KO on the Manectric last turn with that Mega Houndoom. He chose not to. Jamie has now made a mockery of that by avoiding the hit from the Mega Houndoom and getting the hit on the Mega Houndoom. Mega Houndoom now has not taken 2 prizes, and he's down to 100 HP. Oh, now, here's the KO. Beautiful play from Adam here. It passed me by that Giovanni did that. Now, I didn't know Adam had a Giovanni in his hand. That is why he put the damage down on the Mega Manectric. I apologize if Adam is watching this. From my vantage point, not knowing he had the Giovanni, it looked like a silly play putting the Crobat damage down on that Manectric. But he countered the Rough Seas. Jamie was not able to get a Rough Seas out to heal it. He was then able to drop a Giovanni's, and then he wasn't 28 damage short. He had the exact right amount of damage. And it also completely backs up his play of not KOing the Manectric last turn, because had he KO'd the Manectric last turn, he wouldn't have been able to put the Crobat damage on the Mega Manectric, and we saw he got to exactly 210 damage. So straight away here, we are seeing the power of Giovanni in action, doing 20 extra damage, and that was a really fantastic play from Adam there. I don't want to go over the top, but now, like I say, I didn't know he had the Giovanni. I wasn't privy to exactly what was in his hand. From my point of view, it looked like the Crobat damage should have allowed him to take a KO on Manectric last turn or helped him to beat down the Giratina. But of course, he knew that he had the Giovanni. He took a chance. There was a chance that Jamie could have got a Rough Seas and healed the Crobat damage. But I think we'd seen, if I remember correctly, we'd seen 3 Rough Seas going down from Jamie. Meaning that the chances of him having another Rough Seas were very, very slim. Adam took that risk and it paid off spectacularly when he managed to get the KO. Now, the problem is that Mega Houndoom is going down now. It's got 100 HP left and Giratina does 100 damage. That is also going to bar Adam from putting down his tools or his special energy or any stadiums next turn. But he's got that Entei. So 1 more energy on the Entei and he would currently be doing 100 damage. which is not quite enough for the KO. However, if he's got a Giovanni's and an energy, he's going to be able to KO that Giratina with the Entei. Oh, and a really, really good play from Jamie there. He uses Xerosic to get rid of the burning energy, which means that Adam now, if he's going to be able to get the Entei powered up in one turn, he's got to use a Blacksmith. If he uses a Blacksmith, he's not going to be able to use a Giovanni. Now, if he's got a Muscle Band, he could play that, but I would be surprised if Adam plays Muscle Band in this deck, because by far his main attacker is the Houndoom, and you want to play the 4 Spirit Links on that. Now, what he could do here is attack with the Crobat. Jamie still has an even number of prizes to take, so if Adam gives up the Crobat, and actually Jamie can't KO the Crobat with the Giratina, it's only doing 120 damage with the Muscle Band, and then he would bring the Giratina into range of being KO'd by the Entei. Now, I'm assuming Jamie deliberately didn't bench a 5th Pokemon there, and why would he? Entei hits for 80 damage at the moment. Sorry, it hits for 100 damage at the moment. He didn't want to give Adam that extra 20 damage that would have allowed him to KO the Giratina. So, really high-level play in this game here. I'm actually pretty impressed. We seem to have picked a game where we got 2 players with interesting decks that we don't see very often, both utilising, well, to be honest, Adam utilising cards from Breakthrough, and, you know, playing really, really well. So, we bring the Bunnelby into, or Adam brings the Bunnelby into the active here, and what he's going to do is snipe around it. He's going to say to Jamie, look, you're going to have an energy, or you're going to have an AZ or a switch or an escape rope, and I know you've gone through a lot of resources already. If you don't have any of that, then that Bunnelby's stuck in the active, and I'm going to sit here sniping with Crobat, trying to take easy prizes. Now Jamie can afford to put down a 5th bench Pokemon. That half-dead Giratina is in range of the Entei, whether or not there is a 5th bench Pokemon down, so there's no reason not to put a 5th bench Pokemon down. And what we're really seeing in this game is the importance of careful play. Adam planning ahead to use both the Crobat and the Giovanni to get the KO on the Mega, because in a deck like Houndoom, you've really got to think ahead in turns to get the KO on those big HP Pokemon. And we see Jamie, you know, pulling off these little plays like not benching a Pokemon to stop Entei being able to get a KO, and using Xerosic so that Adam can't use Giovanni to get the KO instead. So, Jamie here, he's going to try and get that Bunnelby out of the active. Now, it's not the end of the world. He could always use the Bunnelby, if he's got an energy, to, you know, use his attack to recover 2 cards from his discard pile, or to discard 2 cards from Adam's deck. Maybe he gets lucky and hits a Spirit Link, or a Mega Houndoom, or a Zubat, or something of that nature. Adam, for his part, wants to get more Zubats down. Adam, you saw the brilliant use he's already made of his bats. He wants more bats so he can continue to make good use of them as he goes through this game. So, now Jamie still looks in pretty good control of this. Adam doesn't really have, and yeah, when we saw the VS Seeker, we had to assume it was going to be for the AZ. Jamie, I can't imagine, wanted to use a VS Seeker for an AZ to get a Bunnelby out the active, but, you know, it allows him to do what he needs to do, to be honest. You know, he doesn't want to not KO the Crobat, but what's the alternative? The alternative is that you don't try and KO the Crobat, and that means that Adam is able to just sit with the Crobat and snipe you every turn. You aren't going to have Escape Ropes and Lysandres every turn to avoid the Crobat, so you might as well go after it. Jamie's hope is that next turn he's going to be able to get a second Mega Manectric out, so that even though Adam will have taken 4 prizes, Jamie will be in a good position to start kind of rounding out the game. He's looking for the board position here. Now we saw a judge coming down from Adam. That's a new card from Breakthrough. I say new card. It came out in, I want to say Undaunted. I think it was Undaunted. Again, I shall look it up as we go. But yeah, we saw the judge there. And it forces both players to shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 4 cards. So Adam here is basically saying, I'm going to try and get set up better than you, play a judge so you have fewer cards in your hand, and hope you don't get anything. So Adam is continuing to snipe around. If we look, and no Spirit Link because Jamie attacked with the Giratina. It was Unleashed, not Undaunted. I do apologise. Now we see the Spirit Link here. Does he have the Mega? If he's got an Energy and a Mega, then he can just go ahead and start, using Mega Manectric again. Actually, what he could do here is even just attack with regular Manectric and KO the active Crobat and do 20 damage to something on the bench. And actually, if he did that, that would be quite a nice play. I would like that play from Jamie here. He could do 20 to the active Crobat, which would be a KO, and he could put 20 on the Entei, bring it down to 100 HP. Because remember, Mega Manectric only does 120 and doesn't have a muscle band. So if Jamie attacks into that Entei with a Mega Manectric, he's actually going to be left 10 damage short of the KO. So if he uses the Manectric's first attack there, he's going to be able to get a KO, and he's going to be able to put that Entei into range of being KO'd. So that's what I would like to see here from Jamie. Now, he might have a better play than me. He's more experienced with this deck. But Manectric's overrun attack here, I think, would be good. It's looking like he's going for the Mega here. Now, not a bad play, of course, because he wants the energy on the field. What he can do is retreat the Giratina, discarding the energy, and then he can attack with the Mega Manectric, putting the energy back onto a benched Giratina. Instead, he decides to do none of that and just attack with the Giratina. Now, there are 2 things this does. First, it gets him a prize. Secondly, it pretty much hands Adam 2 prizes on a plate. But thirdly, it's going to basically guarantee that Adam ends this turn with very little. No Spirit Link on the Houndoom, no burning energy going on. And had he not attacked with the Giratina there, that would have opened Adam up to all kinds of Spirit Link plays. And this is the awkward thing about Pokemon at times. There were several plays there that Jamie could have done, and none of them were wrong per se. If he attacks with a Giratina, he's basically giving up 2 prizes, which he doesn't want to do, but he stops Adam being able to put the Spirit Links, so he stops him being able to get the Mega Houndoom, and we see it's paid off spectacularly, because Adam is going to really struggle to find what must be his final remaining Spirit Link. We see he's got a burning energy there, which he's not able to attach. Now, had Jamie not attacked with the Giratina, Adam could have put a Spirit Link on the Mega Houndoom, on the regular Houndoom. He could have attached a burning energy to the active Entei, and then Ultra Balled 2 basic energy ready to blacksmith them next turn. Jamie's given up 2 prizes here, but the inconvenience he has caused Adam has been far, far worth it. Because what he's done now is he's basically, okay, he's losing in a very literal prize sense of the word, but look, he's got his Mega Manectric up and running. He's putting more energy on the field. Adam's got no Spirit Links, and he's just had to get rid of 2 of them. And he's going to have very little energy on his side of the field. Of course, had Jamie gone for the Manectric play, then he would have KO'd the Crobat, and he would have a KO on the Entei this turn with the Mega Manectric. and he wouldn't necessarily have given away 2 prizes last turn. So, yeah, lots and lots of variables here. Having said that, we see Lysandra come down, and we see the KO on the Shaman. And, of course, he's now going to be able to put 2 energy on the benched Giratina, who will be able to do 120 to get the one-hit KO on the Entei. This is what I'm saying about options. Oh, is that it? I think, has Adam just scooped? Or did he take enough prizes there? I couldn't see Jamie's prizes clearly. Either way, just to finish off my point, congratulations to Jamie there. Just to finish off my point, this is the way it goes. I didn't realise he was going to get the Lysandra play onto... Oh, sorry. That all happened so fast, I didn't see what was happening. Right, here we go. What happened was, the Entei was there on his side of the field. So, it looked like, I believe, Adam was able to go ahead and get the KO on a Shaman or something that turn. It looked like he was able to, get the KO and to round out that game. So, maybe, and what I'm going to do before I render this video, I'm going to just go back and double check what happened there so I can give you an update on exactly what happened at the end of that game. But it looks like we're going to game 3 here, and quite frankly, you know, like I say, Jamie's play looked, we see a mulligan from Adam there, Jamie's play looked like a really good one, and he looked like he was getting set up and all of that, but then he ends up losing the game, and had he gone for the Manectric play, then that turn he KO'd the Shaman, he could instead have KO'd the Entei and maybe stopped Adam from winning that game at all. And we see another mulligan from Adam there. So the end of that, the game 2 finished very, very quickly. It doesn't help when they do stuff like that when I'm in the middle of kind of explaining something which isn't, you know, what's happening right this second. It does get a little bit confusing. But it looks like Adam won that game. Well, he definitely won that game. That's how we're going to game 3, quite frankly. But, yeah. Oh, double Hooper start. And remember, both players are probably only playing one Hooper, so we are seeing a Hooperless game right now. So, we see a Muscle Band on the Giratina, and we see a Battle Compressor coming down. And what are we going to see with this here Battle Compressor? Presumably, we're going to see a couple of basic energy ready for the Mega Manectric, and probably a supporter of some kind that he can get back with the VS Seeker. Because the only things he does from the discard pile with this deck are dragging supporters out of the discard pile with VS Seeker, and dragging energy out of the discard pile with Mega Manectric's attack. Now, weirdly going for the 2 lightning energy there. Maybe he's giving up on Giratina. Maybe he's leaving his options open. Oh, and it looks like time has been called, so it's all irrelevant, and we are left with a draw. Adam did not have a particularly inspired opening hand. He had the Battle Compressor, he had the Juniper, so it wasn't unplayable, but it wasn't good. So a really interesting game there, showcasing 2 very unusual decks and 2 very good players. I hope I explained in enough detail exactly what was going on there, and I'm just going to go back and double check what happened at the end of game 2, and I will add that onto the end for you lovely people, because I care. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I have just had a quick look back at the footage, and I was correct. There was a Shaman on the bench with 30 HP taken away. He was on 80 damage left, so the Entei with 2 energy was hitting for 80 damage with 3 bench Pokemon on Jamie's side of the field, which meant that a quick Lysandra was able to get the KO on the Shaman. As I suggested, had Jamie taken the Crobat KO with the regular Manectric and put 20 damage on the Entei, then instead of Lysandrian KOing with the Shaman, he would have been able to just KO'd the Entei with the Mega Manectric as it was. Now, that would, of course, given him less prizes overall, but at the end of the game there, there was a real struggle from Adam to have, attackers. He would have had no energy on the field. Now there's a chance that over the course of a couple of turns he gets a Blacksmith on a new Entei and a Lissandra on the Shaman, etc. But remember that time was called very, very quickly into game 3. So I'm not saying it was the wrong play from Jamie there, because he knew the matchup better than I. He knows the deck better than I. And there may well have been other factors that we couldn't see on the video. All I ever try and do here is give you alternate takes on it. Try and explain plays that were made and plays that could have been made. And, Jamie actually, I haven't recorded the final of this tournament. Jamie, I believe, he definitely makes top 8. I believe he ends up going into the final, if I remember correctly. So, an exceptional player, a really, really good player. All I'm trying to do is give alternate plays that could have been made, not trying to be rude or anything of that nature. As always, thank you very much to Adam and Jamie for agreeing to be on stream, and to Deborah for allowing us to record. If you haven't checked out Game 1 from this tournament, I heartily recommend that you do so now, right now, and I will be back with Round 3 from this lovely tournament very soon indeed. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.